Hello everybody, it's Wyvern here with another bit of Total War Warhammer 2 quick match gameplay. This time around we are on Crack of Karkin, playing as the Empire against the Lizardmen. And once again, I'm still trying to work out these issues I've been having, trying to get the right sort of volume and trying to get some decent in-game volume while at the same time having my own voice volume at a decent enough level to be heard over top of it. So hopefully you guys once again leave me your input. I'm messing around with Audacity now a little bit, trying to get things working. I appreciate Nick T's advice there to check that out. So like I said, be sure to leave me your comments down below as far as audio and anything else might be concerned. And without further ado, let's hop right in. So going in, I wanted to try something a little silly, something very black powder blessed here. So I did bring Balthazar Gelt, not really necessarily looking to goon out anybody, though certainly I did bring Final Transmutation. I mostly wanted a caster while bring 2 Witch Hunters, and so alongside him I did that. I did bring Glittering Robe, figuring that plus 30 armor and extra leadership could make a difference, especially on my Greatswords. If my opponent brought a bunch of Sarce Warriors, giving those Greatswords an extra 30 armor can be a huge lifesaver, can definitely make a big difference. Backing that up with Plague of Rust. Now this might seem a little odd, but because I brought a bunch of Reichsguard, I figured being able to drop armor on targets for them could be very nifty. And finally Singing Doom, because this is really solid for clearing up skinks. And of course we do have our Arcane Conduit, Staff of Volans, and metal shifting, all that good stuff. So Balthazar are very mobile up here on his noble steed Quicksilver. On the ground, we do have 2 Witch Hunters, both with Accusation. These guys, of course, do enough damage per shot, and they've got piercing shots, so they can shoot through to units like Temple Guard, kill multiple models at once, and they'll even do good damage to single models over time. They're just so very, very potent, and definitely a pretty well-rounded unit, especially for a relatively low price. They can really deliver the hurt. Now, the front line here, double Greatswords, just backing up these Witch Hunters, so they're kind of their witch hunting retinue, I suppose. And these guys, of course, will just cleave through the vast majority of Lizardmen troops. These skinks don't stand a chance. Even Temple Guard will trade about 50-50 of the Greatswords. So, cost efficiency-wise, the Greatswords are stellar. Behind them, 2 units of Spearmen with shields, providing some protection if my opponent brought Chameleon Skinks and was trying to flank around, get some side shots, or maybe skink skirmishers or anything like that. These guys would be there to soak up the shots. Behind that, 2 additional spears just to provide some cannon fodder and further zoning tools. In the heart of things, Silver Bullets as well as the Stern's Revenge, providing a bit of AP mass volley fire to really bring down those big monsters in a very, very short amount of time. In the back, to provide additional staying power, additional mass, as well as some ability to chase skinks, we do have the Zintler's Reichsguard on one end, as well as normal Reichsguard on the other, with the Royal of Griffites, the Fear and Terror Causing Regiment of Renown for Demigrove Knights with halberds, of course making up the center. These guys are very, very potent. They can definitely provide some additional stopping power. Now for my opponent, he decided to bring Krokgar, who is here with his full assortment of equipment, actually. Deadly Onslaught, he's got Swiftness of Easel, Hand of the Gods, and Sacred Spawning, of course, so he's very, very tanky, and provides some great anti-large sting power. A Skink Priest of Heavens mounted on a normal Stegodon, which I think is a little bit of a mistake because my opponent is immediately pushing forward. He could have been using that artillery advantage to snipe away at my troops, maybe snipe away at the Witch Hunter or the Demigraves, try to get a few kills before lines met, and instead he's pushing straight in. He also brought all of his spells, which I think is also another bit of a mistake. If you're going melee, bring an Ancient Stegodon, or try to, and don't bring all your spells. That's usually a good idea. Just bring the ones you think you'll need. The front line, a bunch of skinks, great for bogging down state troops, great for buying you time while your big monsters do the work, backed up by a single unit of anchored Temple Guard, so definitely not a bad choice there. Or Bastillodon with the Rev Crystal for those heals, and on either flank, dirt cheap Feral Bastillodons, who will do pretty well against great swords and spears. They'll, with their high armor and okay melee stats, especially once fat bonus for infantry is factored in, they'll do pretty well. Finally, on the other end, we do have a unit of Cold One Spear Riders who will be providing that anti-large AP support. And with their 90 armor, they're actually a respectable match for Reichsguard. I do believe Zintler's Reichsguard will beat him in a 1v1, but hopefully with the buffs from Balthazar Gelt, especially Plague of Rust, we should be able to equalize the odds. Regardless, the front lines are going to clash. You can see the Great Surge is going to tear through these skinks very, very quickly. A bolt does go off there, but you can see immediately Accusation and Mass Volley Fire piling into this poor Skink Priest of Heavens. He is not where he wants to be in life, and he's just getting demolished pretty horribly. And you can see his Temple Guard already down 9 models in just a few shots from the Witch Hunters before they shift target onto the Skink Priest. And this massive fire from the Silver Bullets, from the Sterling's Revenge, from the 2 Witch Hunters just pouring in, and this Skink Priest routs almost immediately. In the meantime, although he did get a shot into Zintler's Reichsguard, taking 9 models off, so huge win there. He is at this point a complete goner. He's going to shatter here, I do believe. And he's been taken completely off the field, having gotten no spells off. In the meantime, over here, the Royal of Griffites are going to dive in on the Feral Bastillodon alongside these spears, bogging him down, doing some great work there. While the Bastillodon here, you can see as the Great Swords are going to swing around, pincer the Temple Guard, and my handguns are going to start pounding on this Bastillon with the Ref Crystal. And once it goes off the field, my opponent's going to be much weaker as far as his healing goes. And unfortunately over here, my opponent did get a lovely charge in with his Cold One Spear Riders, and they are winning against my Reichsguard pretty decisively. But we're going to even the odds by dropping a Plague of Rust. Certainly the Reichsguard is still struggling a bit, but it is a much, much closer fight, and Balthazar is coming around. Now, certainly Balthazar is not a great duelist or a great damage dealer, but when push comes to shove, he can definitely dive down and contribute. Perhaps I should have used the Transmutation of Lead here to weaken their offensive power. Reichsguard, you can see wavering, starting to buckle, so we're actually going to use our Glittering Robe there to give them extra armor and extra leadership, especially to keep them in the fight here. Balthazar's going to dive in, and these Cold One Riders are going to struggle a huge amount. Well, in the meantime, the Sentinel's Reichsguard over here is running down these Cold One Spear Riders, and Searing Doom is coming down, destroying these Skink cohorts, like we discussed earlier. Over here, the Cold One Spear Riders do get caught out by the Sentinel's Reichsguard. They're getting taken to Pound Town. Sentinel's Reichsguard just such good stats. Immunity Psychology, they've got 41 melee attacks, 39 melee defense. They're really, really good. And you can see elsewhere, just my opponent's entire line is buckling. The Temple Guard can't single-handedly carry the day here. The Witch Hunters just popping off shots at Krokar, accusations going down, constant stream of fire from the Silver Bullets, Sterling's Revenge, and all these troops just... He's in a terrible situation, getting torn to shreds. I'm actually using the Demigryph Knights here to force off the Rev Crystal instead of using him on Krokar, because I just figured at this point, Krokar's a goner. He's not going to be able to get through this. More bombardments coming down from Balthazar. You can see the Cold One Spear Riders in full rout. Over here, Sentinel's Reichsguard getting pincered a little bit, sandwiched between the Skinks and the Spear Riders, but nonetheless, with their immunity psychology, their good melee stats, they will hold out. And at this point, my opponent's army is simply going to shatter. 2 army losses. So good game, and somewhat one-sided affair. I do think the Empire definitely has a bit of an advantage in this matchup just because of how powerful Black Powder is at destroying big dinos. There's basically very little dinosaurs can... Or the Lizardmen struggle because their infantry can't really break Empire infantry efficiently. Now, certainly if you go Sars and your opponent goes very heavy on state troops, you can win, and fairly handily. But if your opponent goes with a few Greatswords will just beat down Sars warriors. They'll trade super well with the Temple Guard. A handful of Greatswords backed by spears is an amazing counter to the dinosaur hordes. And you back them up with a bunch of Black Powder and Heavy Cav, and the dinos really struggle because they just don't have great tools. They don't have great range tools to get in on the back line and really shut it down. They don't have... they do have magic, of course, but it can be very difficult, especially when you're just getting crossfired by 2 Witch Hunters, by Silver Bullets, by Sterling's Revenge. There's so much fire coming in from all angles. It's very, very difficult to get the win there. Regardless, as you can see, the all in all, troops performed as expected. Obviously, no stellar kill counts for the Sterling's Revenge or Silver Bullets, or the Alt-Orc fights. They were fighting single models, so one can't expect great performance there. Witch Hunters did some good work. Got a few kills, which doesn't really matter as much as their single model damage. 2 accusations on each of them. Melted down Krokar, just completely annihilated the Skink Priest, and they just did some great work. Balthazar himself providing some great support and actually getting his hands dirty in melee against those Cold One Spear Riders, so definitely delivering in close quarters. And of course the Greatswords just carrying the day, 62 and 63 kills. They dumpstered some of those Kinks and they got in on the Temple Guard. Like I said, if the lines are drawn out, Temple Guard slugs it out about 50-50 with Greatswords. If Greatswords get a wrap, they can win, actually. And it's not as decisive against, say, Blackguard as it is against, say, Blackguard in a straight-up fight, but certainly Greatswords will just do absolutely monstrous work. But regardless, getting into my opponent Epic here, if I had a few recommendations, mostly one, I wouldn't go so heavy on single monsters. Against Empire, you want to go on with lighter things, in my opinion. If you're going to bring monsters, bring some Carnosaurs or Sar Scarvets on Carnosaurs to get that mobility. And then bring the rest of your troops on lighter mounts to get a sort of flexible force. To get the Kroxigors are not bad in this matchup because they're smaller, they're harder to hit for handguns, and they can help bash through great swords. Bring some interdiction tools, bring some Cold One Riders as well, or bring some Cold Ones, bring some more Skinks, some Chameleon Skinks, some backline harass. Bring all these tools to crack Empire. Go wide. There's a lot of options you can do with the Lizardmen, but going with a monster mash is not going to do you any favors against Empire. Empire is just so well kitted out to shutting that down that it's really not a good idea in my opinion. But regardless, great game to Epic here. I do hope you guys enjoyed the video. Mostly, I hope the sound is better. Like I said, I'm trying out Audacity, trying to improve the ratio of volume. Been messing up around with my OBS recording specs as well. So hopefully the mic is louder relative to the game audio. And like I said, please be sure to let me know, guys. I'm taking your input seriously. I'm trying to make sure this is the best experience for you guys that I can make it. So I do appreciate your guys' patience with me as I try to sort this out. And especially Nick T, I appreciate the input and advice on trying to solve these issues. So thank you all. I do hope you enjoyed. Like I said, be sure to leave your comments down below. If you enjoyed, be sure to leave a like and subscribe as usual to keep up with additional content. And I will see you all in the next one. Wyvern out.